There's something you might be doing right now, something that feels completely normal, maybe even loving, but to your dog, it feels confusing, overwhelming, and sometimes even a little frightening. And the strangest part? Most dog owners who truly love their dogs do this every single day, without ever realizing it. Your dog won't bark about it. They won't complain. They won't push you away. Instead, they'll just change, slowly, quietly, in ways you might not notice until it's already affected your bond. And when you finally see it, it's hard to unsee. But here's the thing, once you understand what's really happening beneath the surface, everything about the way you interact with your dog will start to make sense. So stay with me, because what looks like love isn't always received as love. And you'll understand exactly what I mean in just a moment. Because most people believe that loving a dog is simple. Feed them well. Pet them often. Talk to them like they're family. And while all of that matters, there's a hidden layer most people never learn to see. A psychological layer. Where your dog isn't just reacting to what you do, but how you do it, when you do it, and the energy behind it. This is where things start to shift. Because dogs don't interpret love the same way humans do. They don't measure it through constant attention, or endless affection, or emotional reassurance. They measure it through safety, clarity, and consistency. And when those things are missing, even if your intentions are pure, your dog feels something very different. Let's start with something that seems harmless. You come home after a long day. Your dog rushes to the door, tail wagging, eyes wide, body vibrating with excitement. And what do? You immediately match that energy. High-pitched voice. Fast movements. Lots of touching. Who's a good boy? I missed you. It feels right. It feels loving. But here's what most people miss. In that moment, your dog isn't just excited. They're overwhelmed. Their heart rate is elevated. Their body is flooded with stimulation. They're trying to process your return, your scent, your energy. And when you amplify that intensity, instead of grounding it, you're teaching your dog something subtle but powerful. That chaos is connection. Over time, this creates a dog who doesn't just greet you with excitement, but with dependency on that emotional spike. They don't learn calm reunion, they learn emotional overload. And later, when that same dog struggles to settle, or becomes overly reactive, it seems confusing. But the pattern started here. Now hold on to that thought, because it connects to something deeper we'll come back to later. Let's shift to another moment. You're sitting on the couch. Your dog comes over, nudges your hand, maybe places a paw on your leg. And without thinking, you start petting them. Again, it feels like love. But here's the contrast. What you see as affection, your dog may experience as reinforcement. Not of calm, but of demand. Because in your dog's mind, they initiated the interaction, and you responded immediately. Which means, they controlled the moment. Now, that might not sound like a problem. But over time, it changes the balance of communication. Instead of your dog checking in with you, they begin expecting you to respond to them. This is where subtle behavioral shifts begin. They become more insistent. More attention-seeking. Less patient. And when you don't respond, they escalate. More nudging. More pawing. Sometimes even barking. Not because they're being difficult, but because they've learned a pattern. Initiate, receive. But here's what most people don't realize. Dogs feel most secure not when they control interactions, but when they understand them. When there's structure. When affection isn't random, but meaningful. Now let's go deeper. Imagine your dog makes a mistake. Maybe they choose something they shouldn't, or have an accident inside. You walk in, and instantly, they lower their head. Ears back. Body still. Eyes avoiding yours. Most people look at this and think. They know they did something wrong. But that's not actually what's happening. What your dog is responding to isn't guilt. It's your energy. Your tone. Your posture. Your presence in that moment. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to emotional shifts. They don't replay past actions like humans do. They react to what's happening right now. So when you respond with frustration, even seconds after the event, your dog doesn't connect it to what they did. They connect it to you. This creates confusion. Because from their perspective, your behavior feels unpredictable. Sometimes you're warm. Sometimes you're tense. And they don't understand why. This is where trust begins to weaken, not in obvious ways, but in quiet hesitation. Now here's where it becomes even more subtle. Let's talk about constant attention. Many people believe that the more time and attention they give their dog, the stronger the bond becomes. So they're always engaging. Always talking. Always touching. Always reacting. At first, the dog seems happy. But over time, something changes. They become restless when left alone. They struggle to self-soothe. They rely on you for emotional regulation. And when you're not there, they feel it deeply. This is where separation anxiety often begins. Not from lack of love, but from too much of the wrong kind. Because real security isn't built through constant presence. It's built through emotional independence. Through moments where your dog learns, I'm okay, even when nothing is happening. But here's the part that surprises most people. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is nothing. No reaction. No engagement. Just calm presence. Because in that stillness, your dog finds balance. Now let's connect this back to something we touched on earlier. That high-energy greeting. That emotional spike. When you combine that with constant attention and unpredictable reactions, you create a pattern. A cycle of stimulation, followed by confusion, followed by dependency. And your dog adapts. Not because they want to, but because they have to. They begin reading you more carefully. Watching your every move. Trying to predict your energy. And while that might look like loyalty, it's actually uncertainty. Because a truly secure dog doesn't need to constantly monitor you. They trust the environment. They trust the rhythm. They trust you. Now here's a moment that often gets overlooked. Training. You ask your dog to sit. They hesitate, maybe they're distracted. So you repeat the command. Sit, sit. Sighty, eventually, they do it. And you reward them. Seems fine, right? But here's what's happening beneath the surface. Your dog isn't learning the command. They're learning the pattern. That the first cue doesn't matter. That repetition is part of the process. And slowly, your words lose clarity. Because consistency is what gives commands meaning. Without it, communication becomes noise. And when communication breaks down, frustration grows, on both sides. But here's what most people miss. Your dog isn't ignoring you. They're adapting to inconsistency. Now let's pause for a second. Because all of this might feel uncomfortable. You love your dog. You're trying your best. And none of these behaviors come from a bad place. But that's exactly why they matter. Because the most impactful mistakes are the ones made with good intentions. And your dog feels the result, not the intention. Now imagine a different approach. You come home, and instead of excitement, you pause. You breathe. You move calmly. You let your dog approach, but you don't amplify it. And slowly, their energy lowers. The greeting becomes softer. More grounded. More connected. You sit down, and instead of reacting to every nudge, you wait. And when you choose to engage, it's intentional. Clear. Calm. Meaningful. Your dog starts to understand the rhythm. They stop guessing and start trusting. Moments of silence no longer feel empty. They feel safe. And over time, something shifts. Your dog becomes more relaxed. More confident. more balanced. Not because you love them more, but because you love them in a way they could truly understand. And this brings us back to where we started. That thing you might be doing every day, without realizing it. It's not about being affectionate, or playful, or expressive. It's about how those things are delivered. Because to your dog, love isn't loud. It isn't constant. And it isn't chaotic. It's steady, predictable, safe. So the next time you reach out to your dog, pause for just a second. Not to hold back your love, but to reshape it. Because when you do, you're not just interacting with your dog anymore. You're communicating in a language they've been trying to show you all along. And once you see it, you'll never go back to the way things were before.